ekspektasi nyokap lu kalau mendapatkan menantu tuh seperti apa?
As long as he's rich, let's say I bring home like an African millionaire. That's fine.
Okay, nice. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of First of all, thank you very much Indah for lending me your place because gue sampai sekarang belum punya studio.
I got you, Coco.
Announcement for you guys, I actually have an upcoming studio. It's gonna be located in Pik dan I'm gonna be using it next month. Buat yang belum kenal Indah, can you like introduce yourself?
Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your girl Indah G in the house. This is my house, not his.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know me, y'all missing out. No, I'm just kidding. Kenji and I, we met on Jakarta Uncensored. There's that, little video that, hit 1 million views.
Y'all should check that out.
Yeah, shout out to JU.
Hi Jayu.
Hi Kelvin, hi Cheppy.
That was a long introduction. Pada hari ini gue ngajak Indah karena I'm gonna talk about dating different races or ethnicities. Because Indah here, she has a lot of experience in that department. Yeah, that was the whole reason I invited you here.
Yes.
Actually, the whole reason I asked you to invite me here to make this video because I did not technically invite you here because this is your place.
By the way, if y'all haven't watched there are these two videos of featuring Kenji on my channel where we talk about chindo culture and just the chindo experience. I kind of want to connect this conversation to that one where, especially coming from a chindo background, which yes, I'm chindo. I get messages from people and they're like, are you chindo? Kak chindo ya? And I'm like, yeah. Of all things to ask, like you asking that, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I guess if it isn't obvious, which I guess to some people it isn't obvious, I come from a chindo background and it adds to the taboo-ness. I hate that. And I really hate that there's so much taboo. Like here in Indonesia alone, like regardless of what ethnic background you come from, like just that it's part of Indonesian culture where it's like, unfortunately, it's still very much the case where a lot of people here view interracial romantic relationships and marriages in such a negative way. And then you add on top of that being chindo, which you can attest to how I think we take the whole homogeneity, like cultural homogeneity, to another level that is on crack.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I do understand that.
Yeah, it's like chindos, like they tend to be
even more like it's even more amplified that we're chindo on top of being in this society.
It's like Indonesians are already like, no, Indonesians should only be with Indonesians, but then within that are the chindos that are like, oh, chindos should only be with chindos.
Right.
We're such a minority here in this country alone, and like we only exist here, right? Obviously, because we're Chinese Indonesians, we only exist here in this country, and even here we are only like what was the number? Do you remember? How many are we?
I forgot, but I googled that. I think 5%. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think 5%-ish of the whole population is chindo.
Yeah, I think in numbers, like they're probably, my goodness, like are there even like 5 million of us? Like I don't, like it'll be like I would be surprised if there's at least 5 million of us.
Okay, actually, statistically speaking, Indonesia kan like last time I checked, there's like 275 million people.
Yes.
Like, berarti 5% is like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna put the number here because I can't do quick maths.
Yeah.
But yeah. Actually, I got your point.
We're such a minority, and so we're like just expected by our parents and grandparents to just like intermingle within that such a confined space and find a partner within just that group of people.
Yeah.
And do you ever just think about how ridiculous that is? We live in such a big world. Like there's so many beautiful, amazing people out there, and you expect me to just stick in this one little like fish tank? Like, Mama, no, I want to be in the ocean.
I should put that up here. Mama, I want to be in the ocean. Sebelum kita lanjut, gue pengen tanya dulu, how does your mom view interracial relationships?
Okay, how does she view it? Okay, it's really, I guess to put it in summary, considering the fact that she's a chindo boomer, like mama old. Considering that she a chindo boomer, she's as liberal will get. They could be as liberal will get, but chindo parents will always just prefer their chindo kids to end up with a chindo.
Yeah.
They will always just have an automatic set preference for that.
Exactly.
I grew up in the international school system, and my mom's accustomed to seeing me only have friends from other parts of the world except for my own part of the world. So, and then of course that translates like, if you can't even get like chindo friends, like what are the chances of you getting a chindo man? And so mama's very much grown accustomed to me just dating outside, at dating / seeing. We can talk about the distinction between that in a little bit. But she's accepted the fact that, yeah, I'm never probably high likelihood never going to bring a chindo man, but that is okay because she has other more important requirements than just race and culture, which let's talk about that and how there are more important requirements and like boxes to tick other than just culture.
Exactly. Oke, by the way, kayak gue pengen ngomong soal, well, it's good that you said your mom is liberal, because that is a blessing. Gue juga pengen bilang, my parents are also liberal. First of all,
They
my
give
father.
us a lot of freedom.
My father itu orangnya used to go to Nebraska for school, dulu kuliah. He used to have a Caucasian girlfriend, that's the politically correct way to say that. And he said, if I married her, you're gonna be half what? You're gonna be a Asian kid, but then, or I wouldn't exist at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't
actually.
be you.
It wouldn't be me, but I'm probably gonna be like, some Neil Shibata hot type of shit, but yaudah lah, gak apa-apa lah. Instead, I'm just me. Well, that's my dad. Kalau nyokap gue tuh juga, she's very lenient with race and ethnicity, because bener, there are a lot of other things to consider. Jadi kayak I have the luxury of raised with both parents yang seperti itu.
Yeah.
Dan my mom juga selalu bilang, kalau misalnya you date someone, nggak usah ngeliat ethnicity-nya, pertama, dating kan untuk kebahagiaan kamu. Dan kasarnya begini deh, like, this is actually the bitter truth yang dia bilang, orang tua itu cuman menemani anak sampai dewasa, dan kalau hoki sampai anaknya udah tua. Karena like not all parents are gonna be around waktu kita udah tua. Sedangkan kita nikah itu tuh dari kita dewasa muda sampai kita tua. So numbers wise, kita tuh bakal spend more time sama our spouse kebanding sama our parents.
Yeah.
We're gonna spend the rest of our lives with our spouse. Jadi kayak it's actually our call, and if it doesn't make us happy, kalau kita ikutin preference orang tua kita, then what for?
I'm gonna be sleeping on the same bed as that man until I'm so gray and old and I'm pissing myself on that bed. We're gonna be spending a lot of time together.
Exactly.
No, and like I do tell my mom that, because here's the thing is that she gives me, how do I explain this? She gives me my freedom, but she also got a lot of shit to say. She knows her place in the sense of like, I can only tell her so much, but still she like she knows I'm not gonna listen because I'm stubborn, but she still tries anyway. It's the norm here amongst Indonesian parents to really dictate so much of their children's love lives. Cari yang mau sama kita aja itu udah susah.
Iya.
Udah tambah lagi all of these requirements that it's not bukan demi kita, demi kalian ya gitu. And just oh my god, like udah cari yang mau sama kita aja udah susah. Tambah lagi kalau udah, nah pas ketemu yang mau sama kita, terus kita kenalin ke orang tuanya, sionya apa? Sionya nggak cocok.
Bener,
ketemu yang sionya yang cocok, papinya kerjanya apa, maminya kerjanya apa.
Oh my gosh, tadi gue pengen ngomong ini, but I'm so glad you brought this up, biar gue nggak usah segue into this, karena this is actually the next topic I'm trying to bring up. Iya bener banget, bener banget.
Right? And then it's like, sionya apa, orang tuanya kerjanya apa, sekolahnya di mana, and it's like, okay, wait, what else? Oh, my mom is so gung-ho about the sio.
Right.
Because, okay, sionya apa?
Macan.
Yeah. Kerbo. And so kerbo, I don't even believe in this. That's what's the annoying thing. But my mom is so gung-ho about it. And so that's like one of her like requirements. It's like, fuck culture, fuck religion, fuck like all of these other things. It's like, sionya apa? It's like, that's not her number one, but that's like her top three. No, deadass, it's her top three. And it's so fucking insane. And I have to explain that to like my friends or like my partner who comes from a different culture, and they don't understand like what like sionya. You know what I mean?
Bener.
It's like kerbo, cocoknya cuma ama. Siapa? Tikus. Gua
nggak tahu.
Rooster. Snake? I'm not sure, but it's like, so I'm limited to people like within just like these certain age ranges.
Okay, BTW, buat yang kurang ngerti show, I'm gonna like put a chart here. Jadi kayak basically a show is
Chinese zodiac.
It's a Chinese zodiac, and it's assigned to you based on your tahun lahir ya. What Indah's trying to get at is, misalnya dia show kerbo, dia lahir tahun segini, dan kayak the only people yang available to her kalau ikutin show ya adalah cuman kayak tek itu doang.
Yeah. list
yeah,
here.
list here. We touched on this topic tadi kan. Chindo tuh di Indonesia tuh minoritas banget.
Banget.
Udah cindonya minoritas, kita harus potong lagi tuh populasinya tuh yang udah married berapa?
Exactly,
Iya.
exactly. It's like all of these like requirements, and then what are we left with?
Ya. Kayak bener,
Right?
what are we left with? Misal kayak tadi kan populasi kita potong dari yang udah married, sisa yang single. Yang single berapa? Yang single kita harus potong lagi dari age range-nya.
Agamanya apa? Catholics, they're the Protestants, they're the
Right,
Buddhists
right. Oh my
like
gosh,
me.
I
They're the
forgot,
Muslims too.
I
There are
forgot.
Chindo Muslims. Like, let's not
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
about
yeah,
them. And then it's like requirements on top of requirements on top of requirements until like, what the fuck are we left with? I'm so glad that I don't, at least like I don't have to deal with the ethnicity, cultural part. Like, of course my mom has her preferences, but she's already udah kayak like udah terima aja kayak gitu, you know.
Iya,
So
bener,
it's like,
bener.
so her requirements are set to like other things, like money is probably like her number one thing. Oh, do you want to talk about that?
I do actually.
Do you want to talk about that? Because, okay, you know what? I don't want to throw my mom under the bus and make it seem like she a gold digger type of woman.
Lu
Like,
sering banget throw your mom under the bus in your videos. I'm sorry, Ii.
let me explain what exactly she means about that. The whole thing with money is more so because, and I am so sure because I know the kind of familial structure that you come from and your family background that you will relate to this, or at least your mom will relate to this, where it's like, she don't want me to get into the position where if the man's finances are so much different than mine, he could take advantage of my finances.
Yeah.
That is like the whole thing. And it's also just, kalau mau ngomong kasar, if you want to put it in a crass way, she's all like, find a man who's rich because you're rich, right? So it's not the whole, oh, he needs to provide for you because you can't provide for yourself. No, bitch, I can provide for myself and my mom knows that. But it's more so, you know, it's the lifestyle, which by the way, I'm not saying all this, like I agree somewhat with her, but I think she takes it a little bit too out of hand, but I'm just explaining like her argument for it, right? Because I think this is an important, when you're talking about finding a partner, especially marriage, which is like a legally binding agreement that you two are getting into one another, like finances play a really huge part, and you need to like, people need to think about that more, where it's like, of course, because people that come from different socioeconomic backgrounds live completely different lifestyles,
Right.
the values and how you perceive money and how you just perceive the world in general also becomes very different. And so it's one of those things of like, find
Right.
someone whose finances, one, are stable so that he don't take advantage of your finances, two, the lifestyle differences aren't too drastic. And she watched, I'm just gonna be so triggered about this, she watched Crazy Rich Asians.
She told me about it. Yep.
Astrid Leong. Finance to my mom is like number one. Number two, she's very gung-ho about the xio, which I don't even believe in. So it's like, what's the fucking point? But she goes on and on about it. She's like, lihat tuh Michelle Obama, Mom, Barack Obama. And it's actually
Mereka aja
true.
nggak punya zodiak anjir. I mean like mereka like they're not Chinese, jadi they're not accustomed or assigned a zodiac. Oh,
Like, they don't subscribe.
They don't subscribe to the zodiac newsletter.
Yeah.
Mereka tuh nggak punya zodiak anjir.
Yeah, no, but she was like, oh, see, I think Barack Obama's the same age as my mom. Basically, whatever year Barack's born and Michelle's born, like, and then the Chinese zodiacs, like, it matches. And then my mom goes on about how, see, that's why they last long. And then she, you know, and then she pulls out examples of celebrities that, like, Xionyang what's the word, the Chinese word?
Pokoknya kalau misalnya nggak cocok tuh ciong.
Ciong, yeah.
Kalau nggak cocok tuh ciong, tapi cocok I don't know what the word is.
She pulls out examples of celebrities yang udah putus atau yang udah cerai, and then it's like, lihat nih tanggal lahirnya, mereka sionya ciong makanya.
Tapi ada berapa orang yang sionya supposedly nggak cocok atau ciong, tapi masih last long. Banyak banget. I mean like it's never about the technical stuff gitu loh, like what makes a relationship work and stuff.
Yeah.
Kayak misalnya in Chinese kan yang gua tahu juga cowok sama cewek pacaran itu tuh 4 tahun difference tuh bagus gara-gara katanya kaki meja nih. Jadi kalau misalnya differencesnya 4 tahun, berarti fondasinya kuat karena 4 adalah angka kaki meja. Nah terus buat orang yang bedanya setahun 3 tahun gitu apa?
I can't date someone 4 years older than me. I feel like my maximum would be like 3 years. Cause okay, I'm 24, right? 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 is like already they're living such different lives. 27 here in Indonesia generally, like that's the age they're trying to get married. I'm not trying to get married anytime soon.
In most cases juga udah married bahkan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mama, no. I don't believe in the whole zodiac thing. I don't even really believe in the whole Western horoscope. Aries, so I'm an Aries, and so like, you know, fire signs, like we get along well with each other.
Gue Cancer. Cancer apa? Gue nggak ngerti zodiak
You're
sama sekali.
Cancer?
Ya. Shut the fuck up, man. You just said you didn't believe those.
No, but that's a completely different conversation that we can have some other time.
Okay,
But no, it's just I don't believe in that stuff. Like
Yeah.
because we come from, especially like as people of color, we come from cultures that are very like superstitions have chokeholds on our grandparents and parents, like on our culture. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we're a very superstitious culture, and
Benar,
like that's
dan
just
our
it.
superstitious culture tuh sebenarnya nggak limited ke dating doang. Dalam buka bisnis, dalam hal lain kayak misalnya dulu tuh ada like sumpah ada teman nyokap gue ini di real dikit ya, cuman kayak dia tuh kayak ngebaca tangan gue gitu. Terus exactly right, exactly.
I'm so triggered. Oh my god, my mom is so. What is it with all these fucking chindo parents and the palm reading?
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that?
Oh
Dia
my
tuh kayak
God.
ngebaca like jodoh, karir. Kalau soal jodoh gue nggak bakal spill di sini ya. Tapi kalau soal karir itu tuh dia bilang kayak Kenji itu bakal nggak bagus kalau misalnya main saham. Which by the way gue lost banyak duit buat main saham. So in a way that's kind of true. Dan dia bilang kayak Kenji itu bagus kalau misalnya investasi di rumah. Itu nggak masuk akal gitu kan. I am not gonna cut that. I'm gonna keep it in.
No, I want you to include it.
Okay,
I
sure.
want you to include it.
Ya jadi kayak intinya, where was I going with that? Ya jadi intinya kayak like fucking
Ngaco!
Chindos, man.
Ngaco,
Gitu.
I'm sorry, Mom. You're probably watching this, and I'm so sorry. I love you. Also, happy belated birthday. I love you. But what the fuck?
Gue tuh notice sebuah pattern setiap kali Indah pengen ngedis mamnya, dia bilang I love you dulu. Sering banget.
I love you, but.
Yeah, it's the I love you but kan. Kayak sering banget sumpah.
Yeah.
Itu kayak it's like the same energy as saying no offense. Like you know you're about to offend someone when you said no offense dulu. By the way, gue tadi pengen nanya dikit soal your dating history. Getting to the real tea here. Maybe start with the official ones.
The
Because
official ones.
That's what I mean by dating gitu.
I'm so glad you said that. The official ones. The
Yeah.
official ones.
Yang kita anggap.
2. The unofficial ones, 3.
Okay.
Now let me explain. My first serious boyfriend, this was back in high school, and the way I was in love with this man. We dated for 3 years.
Yo.
I was a different person back then. This was back in high school. So that was my first boyfriend. This was back in JIS. White Czech guy. He's a white guy from Czech Republic. So that was the first one. Now, here's the second one, and this is where it gets complicated. The second one, for the longest time, or at least I felt like it was the longest time, I was seeing. We'll get into the distinction. We'll get into the definition of that word in a minute.
Okay guys, I am really sorry. Jadi kayak tadi, kayak kita lagi ngomongin soal Indah's second ex-boyfriend kan, terus kayak my camera died on me. We're now using Indah's camera. Thank you very much for lending me both your place and your camera.
I got you, Coco. Then the second guy, now this is where the complication comes in, is this Mexican-American boy from the hoods of Dallas, Texas. Mexican-American, Chicano, right? And now here's the thing. He and I were seeing each other. But it's one of those things where, let's say like you and me, like if we're, constantly going out on dates together, we talk to each other every single night before bed, or like even like just whenever we have free time, like we talk to each other.
Yes.
We know we have feelings for each other.
And or engage in unholy activities together.
Or doing all types of nasty, not leaving room for Jesus.
Yeah.
If you're already doing all of that, itu sama aja dating gak sih, right?
Sama aja
It's
dating.
like it's just the same thing,
Yeah.
just really without the labels of it. And like, all of my friends at that time, like they knew that this was the guy that like I was with, right? And so to them, like in their view, in their eyes, and the eyes of their fucking mothers that knew, like this was my boyfriend. And so here's the story. One night, he came over to my place, and I called him my boyfriend. Right, I referred to him as my boyfriend.
Gimana tuh caranya? Jadi kayak lu kayak, okay boyfriend, atau gimana?
Oh no,
Like,
because I remember, and I was like lying down on the couch, like my head was on his lap, and his mom called, and then I think I asked him like, well, does your mama not know that does your mom not know that you have a girlfriend now or some shit like that? Like obviously referring to me, right? And like, of course I couldn't tell at that time. I think he held it in, but he was like internally like having a freak out about it, to the point where he like was talking about how, like to his other friend, like, oh my gosh, like how do I tell her? Okay, gitu, you know what I mean? And then he told me, right? He was kind of like, okay, well, let's sit down and kind of have the conversation of like, what are we? When we were having this conversation, we kept in mind that there is a lot of cultural differences at play because he's an American. And here's the thing that I feel like not a lot of y'all know is that American dating culture is a creature of its own that really does not exist anywhere else in the world. Like it is its own thing, and it's so confusing. Even like all of my American friends and like all the years I've lived in America and I've gotten used to this, like even I still think that it's like, what the fuck? It's confusing. And he was explaining to me like, no, okay, like technically like what we are is that we're exclusively seeing each other. And I'm like, what's the fucking difference? And so he explained to me, in American dating culture, the first step is that you're talking to the person, like you're just talking. No commitment whatsoever. You're just talking, and you could be talking to multiple different people. And then after that, like if you want to crank up the commitment level a little up a notch, then you can take it to like, oh, we're seeing each other. But you could either be exclusively seeing someone or non-exclusively seeing someone. And that, but so if you're not exclusively seeing someone, there's no commitment. But if you're exclusively seeing someone, there is commitment. Now, if you want to like really crank up the commitment from there, from the exclusively seeing each other, then it's like, okay, we're dating. And that one, like you have to really like make it clear to the person, like, okay, there's this label now of like boyfriend and boyfriend, or boyfriend girlfriend, or girlfriend girlfriend, what have you, partner, right? You have to like really make it clear, like that's what we are. And then, but even with dating, you could either be exclusively dating or non-exclusively dating. The latter entails that you're in an open relationship. Now, if you're exclusively dating, that could either be serious dating or non-serious dating.
This is a lot for me to take in. Karena kayak
So imagine me and my guy, and like we're sitting on the couch and he was explaining all of this to me, and I'm just like, the fuck? And I went to my other, one of my other American friends, Parker, and I had Parker explain all of this to me, and I'm just like, the fuck?
Jadi kayak mereka semua kayak just like, oh, this is the norm here.
Yeah, but here's the thing is like, and like any American will attest to this, where it's like the stages, it's so nuanced, and there's no verbal indication, there's no tangible indication of like you moving from one stage to the other, and so it's so gak jelas aja gitu, like it's unclear of like where we stand, and so it's just the constant need of always like having to check in, like, what are we, He's in my list of ex-boyfriends, but I'm not in his list of ex-girlfriends.
Does that hurt you?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's one of those things I feel like we just have different definitions of dating.
Right.
Y'all would here and everywhere else around the world, that would constitute as like, oh yeah, you guys are dating, you guys are together.
Iya. Kayak kalau di Indo kan mungkin ada 3 tier doang ya teman, gebetan, or like PDKT. But then di Indo, in our culture at least, kayak kalau misalnya gebetan atau dekat sama orang itu tuh biasanya belum sampai ke tier boyfriend and girlfriend ya, atau boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you guys wanna label it. Jadi kayak kalau di Indo itu tuh, ini gue nggak tahu ya, beda-beda orang. Tapi kalau misalnya belum jadian, itu biasanya kita belum engage in dating activities.
Well, yeah, no, that's
dating activities gitu kan.
Well, yeah, no, that's the.
mungkin gara-gara mereka kayak lebih liberal juga ya.
Yeah.
Doing like you can actually like do dating activities with friends and stuff like that, which I could never understand how y'all can be so liberal. But then ya udahlah, nggak apa-apa. Like everyone's accustomed to different cultural backgrounds, so that's okay.
Everybody like people just do their own things, you know.
Okay, now tell me about your other boyfriend. Like
Right. So okay, hold on. That was just the second one. So the third one, and then this one was a lot more straightforward. It didn't come with the baggage of cultural differences and like different definitions of dating. The third one was this Indian guy. He's also an international student from India, from North India. I'm a very colorful.
Yeah, you do have. Tadi gue udah bilang ya pas sebelum kamera gue mati. You do have a really colorful arsenal of ex-boyfriends. How does your mom feel about your dating life?
My dating life.
Kan tadi kan kita udah established kalau your mom tuh orangnya like she's all about she's a traditional boomer chindo, dan dia juga orangnya tuh ngeliat zodiac banget kan. Of course, tanpa harus dibilang your 3 ex-boyfriends or 2 or I'm just gonna say 3. Your 3 ex-boyfriends tuh kan of course tidak familiar dengan Chindo dating culture.
Yeah.
Jadi kayak how does your mom cope with these differences, or does she not know?
my mom as a parent back when I was in high school is so different from my mom as a parent post high school, because post high school she let me do her she let me do my own thing, because it's, you know, to her it's like, hey, I'm an adult and like I'm gonna give my kid more freedom. Back in high school and before high school especially, she put me on a fucking leash, and it was one of those, I was one of those kids. It's like back in high school I wasn't even allowed to so much as think about men, what more date. My mom was that kind of mom, and so I kept my first boyfriend a secret, and then she found out.
For 3 years.
I think she found out about a year in.
Oh wow, jadi lu udah kayak lu diem-diem setahun jadian.
Oh no, but like the
Keren juga.
kids with strict parents that like put them on a leash are always the best liars.
Right.
And like I've gotten to like really master the art of hiding shit behind my mom's back. Luckily now I don't have to do that as much, but you know, it comes in handy. It really comes in handy. But anyways, yeah, so my first boyfriend, I kept that one a secret. With the second one, it was more so because we had that conversation of, oh, we're not really like seriously dating. Then it's like, why do I tell my mom? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then we ended anyway, so it's like, yeah, I guess it's a good thing. The third one, we were actually like serious, and I told my mom about him, and it was, see, my mother really does not take any of my romantic endeavors seriously, because I think it's one of those things where she knows my character and that because my mom knows that I see different men and like I talk to different men and like I go on dates with different men. So I think to her it's like, oh, every time you're with a man, like you're not really that serious.
Like it's just a phase.
Yeah, it's just a phase. You're not really that serious. So it's like, I'm not bothered. Well, with the third one, it was especially the conversation of the cultural differences, and even he had that with his mom, because they come, they're Indian, and if y'all know anything about Indians, is that they're also very like Indians gotta stick with Indians type of shit. And you know, even he had the conversation with his mom of just like, well, his mom was kind of slipping it in there of like, yeah, you know, maybe it would be better for you to find an Indian girl. It's still a common thing in Asian culture, like Indonesian, Indian, Korean, Japanese, what have you. Like, it's just a thing in Asian culture, especially. With every Asian ethnicity, there are always the exceptions, right? It's just, it's
the outlier.
The outlier, but one, it's very hard to find. And then two, when you do find it, best believe it does not come without scrutiny and taboo and judgment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and especially me growing up in the international system, where I had not only friends of different cultural backgrounds, but also kids of mixed cultural backgrounds, especially like from their Asian side of their
upbringing.
Yeah, upbringing. Thank you. Especially from the Asian side of their upbringing, the whole idea of campur darah, unfortunately, in a lot of Asian societies, it's still very much looked down upon, and it's not supported. Thankfully now, I think we're living in a time where, to quote you in my last video, in our last video together, tertampar globalisasi kan?
Yeah.
Fortunately, turun temurun makin banyak orang pola pikirannya semakin terbuka terhadap itu kan.
Betul.
You know, so it's, the progress is, in my opinion, slow, and I really, for my own sake, wish that it could go faster.
I would disagree actually. Menurut gue it's actually going at a really rapid rate.
Really?
Kan biasa kan kayak perubahan cultural understanding and differences itu kan harus bergeneration ya. Kita adalah one of the generations yang bisa memilih culture kita sendiri.
Yes.
Kita boleh milih loh. Contohnya
Yes.
begini, misalnya si A, B sama C, semua tinggal di komplek yang sama. They all go to the same, let's just assume they all go to the same schools and stuff. Tapi yang satu suka K-pop, yang satu suka anime, yang satu suka nonton Netflix barat. Mereka bertiga bakal grow up to be completely different people. And itu based on the culture that they choose. Yang satu bisa jadi kayak ya Korea banget, yang satu Jepang banget, yang satu Amerika banget. Tergantung mereka sukanya yang mana. Dan dari sana pun bisa tertimpa, kayak bisa nongol cara pikir mereka masing-masing gitu. Jadi kayak you can't actually pick culture anak lo mau kayak gimana atau preferensi anak lo mau kayak gimana, talking to parents here. Jadi ya maybe, just maybe alangkah indahnya kalau parents bisa menerima anaknya kalau misalnya mereka punya romantic interest ke ras lain gitu kan, karena ras itu cuman casing doang, isinya sama anjir.
Yes, and back again to the whole thing of like, when you are looking for a partner, I'm talking to the parents here, I'm talking to my own mama as well, I know she's watching. Yeah, hi. If y'all are, you know, looking at whether or not this person is a good potential partner for my child. Believe me, there are so many more important factors that you need to take into consideration. Race and culture is really not everything. My mom always, like, I'm so lucky. I could literally bring home, like, in terms of race, and like you said, it's just the casing. I could bring home any fucking casing. It's the inside that really matters, even if the inside. Well, the inside. Well, even if the inside are superficial things such as money. But one would say, a lot of people think that, for example, money is superficial, but like, no, it's like an important thing that you need to discuss about. But also just like, or like other things like your values, whether or not it's religious values or a-religious values, or just, lifestyle compatibility, and just whether or not y'all really love each other, just we've learned to assimilate and adapt to different cultures other than the ones that we grew up in. That's maybe I'll be careful about saying that it's easy. Maybe it's not easy for some people, but for some people it is. And then even when it's not easy, it's something that in the name of love you will do it, So I wanna mention something because it ties to all of this conversation. But in the last video that you and I filmed together, Kenji asked, how does your mom react to you growing up like this? I grew up more westernized to the point where she and I speak completely different first languages, right? But I asked my mom that over dinner. So mom, like, are you okay with me, like how I turned out? Like, how do you feel like seeing me grow up like this? And I'm so happy with my mom's response. So I want to air it out there just because it showcases the more lovable side of my mother. And she was like, anak aku mau kayak bule, mau kayak apa, yang ya tetap aja anak aku.
Aw, cute.
So yeah, that's the answer. And
Does that mean she's proud of how you turn out though? She did not answer that question explicitly. Kalau misalnya with a different tone ya, bisa juga kayak, ya mau anak gue kayak gimana ya udah tetap anak.
Oh no, not like that.
Kayak bisa jadi.
That is true. No, but her tone when she said that, no, I know it came from a place of like, you could turn out however fucking way, but you still my child and I love you no matter what.
So that's really wholesome. I actually want to ask you more about your, karena kan Indah kan tinggal sama mamnya doang, cause single parents gang.
Single parents gang.
Ekspektasi nyokap lu kalau mendapatkan menantu tuh seperti apa?
Financially stable, number one. Number one, financially stable, and that he, if needed, can provide for me, because she's still, this is the part of her mindset that I really do not like, where it's like, it's not that you need to be provided for, but it's that it's still a man's job to provide for the wife. So her mindset is that a woman needs to know how to stand on her own. She needs to be able to do everything herself, but a man still needs to do everything for her.
Understandable, actually.
I don't think that's I do think that's understandable. You think that's understandable?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well, you two will get along well, because I don't think that's really that understandable. Yeah. And then other than that is that he sticks around. Because
I'm sorry. You had to bring that up.
For context, I mean, he comes from a single parent household because his parents split up. But with me, my dad's an actual deadbeat, so yeah. He can stick around and he can take care of the kids as well. You know how a lot of men, especially like in our culture, it's like, oh, the man just all he does is work and he doesn't take care of the kids, and like he never cooks, he never cleans. That shit don't fly in my household. No, he got to be able to like do the workload as well.
Kalau misalnya a man bisa cater to all those expectations, dan dia mau menjadi suami lu, tapi dia bukan chindo. Let's just say yang paling jauh apa ya? What's the furthest example from a chindo?
Anything. To put it in a very crass way, as long as he's rich, he could be like, let's say I bring home like an African millionaire. That's fine.
As long as he's rich, yeah.
That's to put it in the crassest way. To put it in the crassest way possible. That's her.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't get it twisted between like my preference and her preference. That's her preference. It's like as long as he is rich.
Well, yes.
Whatever shape and color he comes in, she don't fucking care.
Oke, tapi itu actually bener juga karena gue punya temen, she's a chindo, dia dating a non-chindo.
And the parents are like that too?
Parents-nya itu tuh awalnya tuh nggak kasih anak ceweknya pacaran sama non-chindo.
Tapi ternyata cowoknya kaya.
Tapi ternyata pas cowoknya kaya, parents-nya bilang kayak, cowok lu ganteng juga. Padahal awalnya tuh nggak di-approve gitu kan.
Yeah. So and to be honest, like I will cut my mom some slack. It's really not just her, okay? Like let's just be real. It's not just her. Asian culture is so materialistic so money oriented. A lot of parents are like that. You're just not hearing their kids talk about it in front of the camera like I am right now. And I have so many similar stories to that too.
Dia bilang, kamu kan non-chindo, kamu tuh nggak pantas main sama chindo.
Yes. What the actual fuck?
Chindo pacaran sama warga keturunan asli Indonesia.
And with that combination, it usually entails differences of religion.